Welcome back to Wake Up, Explore Your Passion, the show that helps inspire you to live your dreams. Roberto Milk, co-founder and CEO of NOVICA, will be with us live in just a moment. But right now, I want to know what you've been saying at wakeuptv.com. Before the break, our chat room host, Jesse Martinez, asked the question, what artwork do you have on your computer desktop? Jesse, what kinds of answers have people been coming up with in the chat rooms?
All right, we're getting lots of answers, including green grass, Brassman, the Bruce Jenner cover art for the Neil Archer novel, my baby boy, and my honey bunny, and a whole bunch like that.
Fantastic, Jesse. Well, thank you so much. We do want to hear from you at wakeuptv.com tonight. But right now, we are here with Roberto Milk. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Roberto.
Yeah, thanks for having me here.
It's a pleasure to have you on wakeuptv.com. 50,000 people around the world with artwork, the artisans, everything that you've got going on. Tell us a little bit about what NOVICA is.
Yeah. Well, we basically we have offices around the world, and we work directly with artisans in Asia, Africa, and Latin America, and we sell handcrafted goods directly to customers around the world.
And so, has art always been a passion of yours?
Yeah, I've always liked art. I've always liked handcrafted art. When my brother and I were kids, we would collect instead of collecting Star Wars figures or G.I. Joes or whatever, we had ceramic animals from Mexico and different handcrafted things that we'd pick up in our travels. So we were kind of unique that way, I'd say.
Well, I think the thing that I love the most about what NOVICA does is really how you connect with and help people all around the world, and you do that right from here, and you have several offices around the world. We're going to talk more about that, but I think we have a clip. I'd like to take a look at that and give our viewers at home a sneak peek into some of the artwork and some of the artisans that work for NOVICA. Roberto, I have to tell you, those images are amazing. So many different types of art, so many different people. How many different countries are you working with?
So we work in 7 countries. We actually, what we wanted to do when we started NOVICA is we wanted to figure out a different way to reach artisans around the world.
Okay.
The traditional system really wasn't working too well.
And what is the traditional system?
Well, let's say you go to a kind of a larger store and you buy a handcrafted piece of art, and the problem is, if there's something that's handcrafted that you really like, it's probably, your son made it, your daughter made it, someone in your family, someone that you knew. But when you go to a store and you buy something handcrafted, it's you're kind of missing, who made it and why did they make it and under what conditions, and the real kind of what makes a handcrafted piece special.
I think, I love to travel. I do a lot of traveling myself, and I would say that that's what makes traveling, that's the exciting part of traveling, is really having that connection with the artwork and the people and the culture.
Yeah, and that's why people like to bring stuff back from their travels, because they say, oh, you see this on the wall, this mask, it was from, a trip to Ghana that I took, or, so what we wanted to do is we wanted to figure out a better way to reach the artisans and connect them with the customers. And so what we did to do that is we opened up offices where we can work directly with the artisans, and we actually ship the products directly to consumers that buy things on our website. We ship them directly from these offices.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah. So what you saw over there, that was actually from our Bali office.
Oh,
it's one of our favorite destinations within the company, getting to Bali. But we have offices in Bali, in Thailand, and India. And in Latin America, we have offices in Brazil, Peru, and Mexico. Wow. And in Africa, in West Africa, and Ghana. Yeah.
Well, you have artwork from all over the world, and I asked you first if you were passionate about art. I'm curious, how did this idea really develop? I know you didn't just sit down and say, well, we're going to put together a company that brings art from all over the world. How did it really come about?
Well,
Give us the behind the scenes.
Okay, all right. Well, I would say more than art. I'm more passionate about people and about artisans, and my grandmother I'm part Peruvian, so my grandmother on my Peruvian side was one of our first artisans, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful.
And then on my father's side, my grandmother on my father's side was a missionary. She had spent 15 years in Cuba, and then she did missions in Vietnam and in Mexico. And we were very lucky growing up that we got to spend a lot of time with both of them, and we would take a lot of trips where the family would just pile up everybody in the VW Vanagon, and we would drive down into Mexico, and it would be my brother and myself and 2 cousins and my grandmother, my abuelita is what I call my grandmother on my mother's side, and my parents, and we would just kind of drive and explore, and that stuck with us. And that passion for people and for artisans, I think, is really what kind of was the spark behind NOVICA, is that we saw a system that didn't quite work, and we said, how come an artist that has this amazing craft can't quite get a price to make a living with that craft, and how come this customer that is interested in that has to pay so much for that piece and doesn't quite know who made it? So we said that system needs to be redone, and that's what we've tried to do.
What a fantastic way to redo that. You say that you found your calling. How can you say that? How can you be so sure? Do you ever wonder, maybe this isn't it?
I guess you do. But when it feels right, I guess that's what I would say to people. When it feels right, when you wake up and you feel like you're on the right path. And the signs are there. You just got to pay attention to the signs. If so many things that have happened to us, there's been a real kind of synchronicity to it, where things have happened for a reason, and we've been guided. And I just feel like we are on the right path, and we're just at the the tip of the iceberg.
Well, we're going to talk a lot more about NOVICA and about how you got started. Coming up, a first-hand account of the building of this multinational corporation, and your chance to ask Roberto any questions you might have about NOVICA at wakeuptv.com. We will be right back.